I have my maintenance surfaces cleaned up, and as far as the new part, of course, like I said, I have the new part to go in here. I have the maintenance surfaces cleaned up, so let's go ahead and get our new part on. So what I'm gonna do now is same thing. I'm gonna transfer these bolts again. That way I know exactly where they go. This one here I could leave out. I know this is the only bolt that's like this, so I know exactly where that goes. It goes right in the center here, so I can actually just leave that out. But I have all the rest of the bolts where they need to go. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with the top two. So I know this goes on the left side up here, and this goes on the right. I'm going to make sure my gasket is clean. And once you're good with your gasket, you set it up there. I have my two top bolts on, but not tight. They're loose, just to hold this in place. Now I will just one by one, I'll just transfer the bolts from the old one last time. Now it's a lot of transferring, but this makes sure that we keep the bolts in the right holes that they go. So I'm just going to loosely put that in and grab my next one and transfer that one. That one goes down here. Like I said, I'm just putting them on loosely until I have them all in, and then I would slowly work my way around, kind of like a X pattern as I'm tightening them down. I have all the bolts transferred now, so I would slowly just go around and just slowly work those bolts on without making any of them really that tight. And then after I get them all snug, I'm going to use a ratchet and go around and make sure they're all evenly tightened. So I'm going to go ahead and get them all snug first. So they're all snug down, so I'm going to take my ratchet now and work my way around and just make sure they're all tightened. So let's go ahead and take care of that. They're all tight. We can go ahead and push this hose back in. Work that back in. If you have too hard of a time having it go in, you can always put a little bit of oil on the O-ring and it should slide in better. We're gonna rock it back and forth until it goes in. Once you get that in, we can lock it in with this bolt, this 10mm bolt that we took out. We're gonna go ahead and put that back in to lock that in place. All right, so I have a new coolant temperature sensor to put in here, which is why I didn't remove my old one. But if you don't have a new one, of course, remove your old one and put it in here. This didn't come with Teflon tape on it, but I am a firm believer in Teflon tape. Just make sure you don't put it too much past the thread so that it will get in there. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna put this in here, and I'm gonna tighten that down with the wrench and then plug it in. It is a 19mm, so we're gonna get that tight. We got it in there. Now we can go ahead and plug our harness back on there. I got the hose back on that bottom right there, and my hose clamp. That was the next step, is to getting that hose on there. And now we can go ahead and get our tensioner back on as well. It's just one bolt. So we're gonna go ahead and get that tensioner on. Now that that's tightened down, we can get our idle pulley back on right over here. Let's go ahead and tighten that down. Now that all our pulleys are on, I'm gonna go ahead and work my belt back in. Okay, my belt's back on. If you need to look up the belt diagram, you can find it on Google. So once the belt is on, now I can go ahead and put my air box, well, my breather tube back on here. I have that in and tight. Now I can go ahead and drop my thermostat into the thermostat housing. Once that's in there, go ahead and put the top part up over it, and then we can start to work our bolts in. I have both of these 13mm bolts tightened down. My new thermostat is in there with the gasket. So all I have to do now is go underneath and close my valve on the bottom of the radiator, my drain valve. I'm on the car now. My valve is shut. All right, so that's it. Now I can go ahead and start the fill. Let me not forget to put this harness here on. All right, now we can go ahead and fill our radiator with the proper radiator fluid, and that would be it. Now this is important. This right here is your radiator, well, this is your coolant purge valve. So once you get the coolant filled up here, you take this out, this plug, and the air will start to come out through the top, and then you see coolant coming out. Once you see coolant coming out, you put this plug back in. Then you'll finish topping this off, and that's how you fill the coolant on here. So let's get that done. All right, just before it got dark, we got it done. So we got the coolant filled up. We're able to remove that plug and get that air out of the top of there, and everything is good. So we're gonna start it up and make sure everything's running good. But that is how you change your water pump on a 2013 Dodge Charger. This is the 5.7 Hemi.